talking weather. Yep. Yeah, minus 60 degrees, just nasty. You can't even breathe. Your your nose gets frozen, like it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, we'll start in 30 seconds. Give time for another couple of people to join in live. And a couple more. Yeah, pretty south in Canada, yeah, but it's north is nasty, man. I've only ever visited Canada in summer, and it's beautiful. Like, I love Vancouver in summer. It's one of my favorite cities in the world, probably. But Canadian winter, oh, not so much. Hey Kiko, how you going? All right, team. I reckon we can get started. Good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, depending where you are joining us from today. Thank you for being here live as always. Value your time. I appreciate you for being here today. I am grateful for you being here with me today. And if you're watching the recording, make sure to drop a comment down below. Just let me know that you are indeed interested in what we are talking about here. Otherwise, we're going to stop recording. All right. Let's get straight into it. Bitcoin dominance. It's doing what we hope it would do, which is hopefully we're going to start seeing some nice rollover. So we want Bitcoin dominance to reject from here, which so far looks like it is, which is fantastic news. And what we wanted to do also is we wanted to start obviously making lower lows and lower highs, right? So on a weekly, we are starting to see some nice bearish price action. We had obviously a sweep of liquidity, big one up here, and on a daily, we are finally starting to see some also price action returning into bearish momentum, which is what we discussed about. I think it was last week or the week before. The real test will come down here within that 55% to 57% in this weekly candle. As you can all see, this will be the real test for Bitcoin in terms of what are we actually going to do. Are we going to roll over and head lower, in which case we will see in exchange a bit of an alt rally? Or are we going to perhaps reverse here and then continue a little bit higher? My hope, as I think everyone on this call and everyone probably watching the recording, is that we eventually, break lower into low 50s, of course, because that will give alts a bit of a rally on the upside. But we also do need to consider that, we'll likely never see some of those real low Bitcoin dominance percentage, like for high 40s, even high 30s. I don't think we'll ever see them again, not with the institutional pressure that we now have on Bitcoin. So in a realistic, and we've got to be realistic, right? Not helpful, realistic. Let me make this fib a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see it there. In a realistic scenario, I'm expecting probably Bitcoin dominance at the worst coming into the high 40s, early 50s, so into that 50% 618. Because obviously Fibonacci is a tool for us to simply measure strength of an impulse, and if this was the impulse, the retracement likely won't be as deep as a 76, because obviously we have institutions, we have ETFs, we have all that jazz. So 76 will mean that the bear have a lot of power and control to come back lower, which I don't think is the case with Bitcoin obviously having a lot of demand. So 50% to 618 equals to 52% to 49% roughly. That's where I'm hoping we will see an alt rally. Okay, so always important to get a gauge where we are in the I guess in the Bitcoin dominance game, which is obviously super important. Let's take a quick peek at what Bitcoin is doing right now. We had a bit of a obviously we had a great call on the long, which we took. We also grabbed the short, but this short here, oopsie, this short here, which wasn't called, I'm glad that we didn't call it, because you can see we've called instead Ethereum and Solana, or actually just Solana. and Solana one, we'll get to it, got stopped out, but Solana entry 2 is still in play, I think, or maybe it got stopped out just before this call. I'll have to check. But long story short, we are trading into a bit of a range, and I wanted to take a second here to kind of show you guys what is happening at a higher time frame. Okay, so on the daily, we are on a daily time frame, low to high. So this is our range, right? We are playing inside this box basically. What do we see is we see a nice deep retracement into the 76 AA6 area. We actually tapped the AA6 beautifully, which is how we managed to get the sniper entry. And we are now sitting, or starting I should say, sorry, excuse me just for a second, there. Okay, we're good. Okay, we are now starting to see on the daily some sort of bullish, or at least a tint of being bullish in the form of higher highs, right? We have now officially broken structure, and we're starting to see some sort of higher highs, which is great. That's a kind of relief that we talked about now for a few weeks, I think it is. What we are waiting for is a price relief or action that takes us back likely and hopefully into high 100s, sorry, into the low 100s, so 101 to 105, perhaps into this nice daily candle up here. My bias long term still stays bearish though. Long term, I mean in the next 12 months, because I do think obviously this is the start of the bear. You know this by now. What we do have here at this very moment, likely playing out in the next 24 hours though, is a nice candle that's been printed 3 days ago. So this daily candle was a nice institutional move, scoops up these equal lows, and initiates a nice big movement up. So this move right here, which I'm going to do with my usual there magnet, it's a beautiful daily move. Then we can start breaking down. And the reason why we're looking potentially for longs now is whenever we have a break of structure, we obviously want to see a confirmation. So if we managed to print another higher low, so this was obviously lower low, first higher low, second higher low, hopefully, and similarly, obviously we had first break of structure and then we have another higher high, then we can start looking for some longs. So at a lower time frame, if we break down Bitcoin price action, all we have to do is our usual, which is breaking down starting from daily and going down into time frame straight away. And you can see I've got the daily candle highlighted there. We probably don't need it into the hours, so I'll get rid of that because now we are playing within this range. So we know that this daily candle right here that got printed was the one that initiated a bullish move and broke structure on a daily. You can see the break of structure happened here. Fantastic. What do we see straight away here? 4 hour. This was the candle that took out the equal lows. Yes. So swept what? Liquidity. And now all we have to do is be patient and see how far down here we actually retrace. Do we come back into this 4 hour candle? This will be my ideal long. And it's a, mind you, it's a relief long, right? We are not long forever. We are simply betting on a relief rally. So my 1 to 3 target would be a nice start. So I'm gonna probably go somewhere here, 1 to 3 thereabouts. Maybe you can go a little bit. You want to give enough room and go below this low down here. So something like this will be actually take profit probably into this equal highs up here, which I'll extend there so you can all see it. Okay, this is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin at the moment. So I'm looking for a long, a retest into this 4 hour order block right here, and hopefully we get an even better entry if we look for maybe 1 hour 15 minutes. You can see that on that 1 hour, that the daily candle, which we just broke down into a 4 hour candle, is actually still of interest. So that 1 hour is a big push down before we go up. So this 1 hour candle is still of interest, a little bit lower. Let's see what the 30 minutes gives us. 30 minutes not huge, nothing major. I do like this candle down here, but it's been traded into a couple of times, so it's already been mitigated. Let's look at the 15 minutes. I want to do this analysis live with you guys as opposed to just give you the setup. So I want to give you the tools to go and fish. You can see also that here on the 15 minutes, what do we have? Can you see it? Liquidity, equal lows. We have some nice equal lows there printed. So we have a bit of liquidity sitting just within that 4 hour candle, and these are the kind of confluence that we like to play off. Well done. Yes, T-Bone, exactly, liquidity right there. So what we want to see now is price action to go down, and you can ask, hey Ozzy, are we going to short if we're going to go down? No, I'm not going to short because price doesn't have to come back down there now. It can go all the way up to 120 before it comes back down there. So I am just simply going to highlight an area that I'm interested in, and then what I usually do is I literally just extend the box and I just go trade area active. Trade area is active, so that I know via my handy dandy alerts that whenever price or price action enters my box, I will get an alert and I can go into lower time frame and look for what in the lower time frame. This is on a 4 hour, of course. What to look for in the lower time frame? I'm sure a few of you know. Confirmation of breaker structure, exactly. So the lower time frame would have, obviously, if we go down, they will have lower lows and lower highs printed. So I just want to wait until that changes into higher lows and higher highs. Yeah, so I'm still the same logic that we just applied from daily to 4 hour. I'm going to apply from 4 hour to 1 hour to 15 minutes. So at the moment, I suggest highlight an area and wait. There's a lot of imbalances here as well. You can see inside this candle, there's still plenty of imbalance that needs to be filled. So I've got a very strong feeling that we will eventually roll over to the downside. When? Well, it doesn't have to be now. As you can see, we are also creating equal highs right now. There's also equal highs up here. So we might go a little bit higher before we actually go lower. And you can see probably by the golden boxes that I've got highlighted, there's a 4 hour IC there, there's a 4 hour IC there, and there's a beautiful 4 hour IC there. So 1 of 5 will be my favorite short at the moment if we get up there. But I've got levels. These are just levels that patiently, I just want to patiently wait until they get hit, and then I can reassess. But we either go low before we go high, before we go low again, or we go high before we go low, before we go high, before we go low again. So just take what the market gives you. I guess the reason I'm showing you this is we cannot predict. We are not magician with a crystal ball. We are simply here to react to what the market is giving us. Okay, and at the moment, obviously on a daily, we just looked at it. We have a breaker structure, which technically is a change of character because it hasn't been confirmed yet. So this is the first of a change of character. The real breaker structure will come once we print a second higher low, which is what we want to try to catch. And then obviously we continue higher. Okay, so Bitcoin, be more patient. We know at least what we are waiting on, and we'll just wait. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum shorts here are not good. No good at the moment because we are pushing higher. And Ethereum has some nice liquidity. You can see here in gray that there were our previous trades. We had a TP. We had a full TP on the short. So now, excuse me, I'm really waiting for this area of liquidity, the pocket of liquidity, if you like, to be taken out, which also would bring me to the next short area, which for me on ETH, the very first short area that I'd be interested in is not from here, it's from up here. So from the 3,000, what is that, 334 to 335, roughly 3550. That's the area that I'll be interested in shorting on ETH. So nothing there that screams to me right now short. Also, if we do a simple fib on a daily, we can see that structure really also has broken, but it's really want to try, if we do a macro move from high to low, we are still very far away from even a 50% reversal. So the reason why I'm showing this is that it means that we might actually go back into the 3.7s before we actually see a bit of a relief on the downside. And of course, we also like to highlight levels of liquidity, as you can see here at 3.6, some nice equal highs waiting also to be taken out. So ETH, I'm staying away and clear off for the moment. With Solana, and please feel free to ask any questions you might have. So with Sol, what do we have here? We had a long that we broke down last week, which obviously went into full TP, which is nice. The logic behind it, we broke it last week. If you didn't watch it, you can go back and watch the recording. But basically, we were creating liquidity, broke liquidity, take a fib, wait for the fib area, wait for the lower time frame institutional candle to be filled, and obviously the first TP right here. Okay, so now we saw where are we at now, where are we heading? Well, similar to ETH, I've got a very interesting 4-hour institutional candle here, which was the last push higher or buy to sell move, where basically, oh, my mouse is going bonkers. Okay, there. So that is my 4-hour institutional candle that I'll be interested in for shorts. 167 to 170, call it roughly, because I want to go up above. So 173. The previous low. So for the moment, nothing on Sol. We took a long, happy with that. We also had a short, I think, which is it's on this chart. It's on this one, which got there you go. The second, so 1 and 2. I did post on, I think it was on the Perps chat. This was the first short that I was interested in. I said I'm not against trying here as well, but obviously wanted higher, and it did go for this big area of liquidity. So you can see we just cleared it right now, or in the last hour or so. So yep, all in alignment there for me. Nothing for Sol just yet that I'm interested in at the moment. So I'm just going to wait for price action to play out. This is a bit of a weird price action. A couple of you reach out via DMs and like, well, what are we doing? You know, this is a weird price action. What should we be looking for? Well, in reality, times like this where we are basically in the middle of a move, right? If you look at the move, if we break it down into simple structure on a 4-hour, this was the high, this was the low, this was the high, this was the low, this was the high, this was the low. So if we take the last price action, this box right here, right, from the previous high to the most recent low, we are literally sitting in the middle of a move, just under the 50%. So if you've been watching my recordings or lives, you know that when we are in the middle, when we are in the middle of a move, we don't really like to take trades because we have a 50-50 chance. You know, it could reverse from here, it could continue higher. So I don't really like to play with low odds in my favor. I'd rather play from higher odds and wait for that 786, 886 area, which also coincides with a 4-hour institutional candle. So if I'm going to be looking for shorts, I'm going to be taking them from a fib level that gives me great risk to reward, not from a 50% to 618 personally. But some people love it, and you know, most people do like these levels. Okay, let's have a look at XRP. XRP, nothing new in the sense that it is similar to obviously BTC and ETH. It has not, however, just like we looked on BTC and ETH and Sol, XRP has not broken structure. So we are still, because this is not really structure in my opinion, this is an attempt of a higher high, but even with that, if we take this as the previous higher low, we still haven't cleared it. So out of the lot, XRP is probably the one that looks the most bearish in my opinion. we are obviously creating, liquidity here. So we are also creating a nice area for institutional bidders to come up and take. But yeah, at the moment I'm XRP, I'm not seeing anything overly I'm not enthusiastic with this price action. I'm not liking it. We are in the middle of a move from here to here. We're literally sitting at the 50% once again. So nothing there for me to try and look for a trade if I don't see it. Let's have a look at ENA, because I also discussed that the other day. I shall tell you what we'll do here. ENA. Where is it? It was this one, I think. Take a look. Yeah, look, it's not looking too rosy. I mean, you might wait. Yeah, the reason why we took ENA, or I also suggested ENA, because it was such a nice price action for shorts. And I'll break it down for you so you can see why I said it was nice price action, and it still is. I still would have taken it. So we obviously were making what, lower low, lower highs. We had another lower low and another lower high here, and then throughout this, what do? We consolidate, create liquidity, right? And liquidity here was obviously equal highs, and then what do we have? We have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful buy to sell, this candle right here, which would have made up for a perfect short in my opinion. Level obviously got rejected in the sense that the buyers took over, and now we are pushing higher. These things happen, we are not 100% right all the time, so nothing to be upset about when we have a trade that doesn't go away, as long as it fits our confirmation, and the confirmations were all there for me. Look at this price action, creating liquidity. We obviously have a big push higher, a beautiful 1 hour candle still there, followed by a big sell-off. I still would have taken this any time, and you can see we had buyers attempting to be invalidated, or I should say sellers attempting to invalidate buyers, that 1 hour bearish candle within that area. So the sellers had, we were the sellers as well. We attempted to go lower, but the high, obviously the buyers took over. So Kiko, yeah, I will cut in the sense that we're now obviously pushing higher on everything. So if you want to save yourself a couple of dollars, or depending on how much you bid, but yeah, you can cut here. And basically, once that, you can see this attempt of invalidating bullish price action didn't quite go to plan on ENA. That's pretty much it, what I've got for crypto. I just wanted to reiterate the importance of just be patient with price action coming to us, and price action needs to come to us. We're gonna wait. I'm not gonna rush into anything right now. That same 4 hour candle which we just looked at on ETH and SOL is also here on BTC. Sorry, on ENA as well. So that area, which I think is on the 11th of November. Let's see where was it? 11th of November also, which I said was my favorite area to look for a short, is still valid for most of the cryptos at the moment. So the two closest trades, and I mean closest in the sense that that might eventuate, might be a long on Bitcoin if we come and retest this 4 hour candle, or shorts upwards if we go a little higher, I guess, before. But at the moment, I don't see anything right now. I might call out some scalps, but I don't really want to scalp in the middle of price action for that reason. Let's take a look at some of our other calls that we had. I think on the channel we called out and CAD, New Zealand CAD. So I'm running through this break down this this trade so you can see how we trade, not just Forex, but anything. Everything is the same. So we always start from a daily, right? From the dailies, we obviously, you can see we were making lower lows, and then we attempted to go higher. We didn't quite succeed, and we effectively made a lot of liquidity on the downside. We also had a nice big push down, this movement right here that came and grabbed all this liquidity sitting down here. So all I was interested in was basically this range from the low to the high. So on a daily, we just take literally a fib, just like we do all the time. Nothing changes, right? So I'll do it with you. This was the low. This was the recent high. So we take a fib from the low to the high. Price action, I've been looking at this trade for weeks, mind you, so it's not something that, you know, I didn't want to take it at 50 to 618. I just really wanted to wait for that 786, 886. And you can see we hit the 786. There was still no confirmation on anything happening there. And then what I did say when we were done here, which is when we took the trade, I said, looks like 4 hour is starting to push, or attempting to push up. And if we go back and bring it into the 1 hour, which is the time frame down from the 4 hour, we do see indeed that we are starting to make some higher highs. So this was the lower, this was the higher, this was obviously price action prior. We had an attempt. Did it hold? Yes, it did. We had printed a higher low. So that was simple. 76 at a 6 area, identify which area I'm looking at for a breaker structure and wait for the breaker structure. So if you want to be even more precise, this is how we take the trade from the recent area, which we identify at the A6. And this is literally, I'm literally showing you how I take the trade. So look, recent low, recent high, I've got an A6 at a macro level. And then all I have to do is wait for a 786 at a micro level. Okay, so I identify an attempt here to break structure. I take another fib from the low to the high, and I wait for the 786. And that was it. That's how we taken the trade. So obviously that was called a couple of weeks ago now. Let's see, when did we call it? It was here on the, I think it was there a couple of weeks ago. Just call it a couple of weeks. And now we are sitting on Fibonacci extension, which is so important to understand when we look at macro moves or swings. So Fibonacci extensions like this are great. And you can see here my settings. Feel free to screenshot them and go and copy them. This was an area where I took a little bit of profit because we're sitting at the first Fibonacci extension, and you can see the price respects that. Price stops, creates more liquidity, and obviously you can either retrace back lower or in this case pushing up higher. So this will be the next area where I scale down majority of it, and I'm going to leave a little bit of runner in case we do end up on a 3618. So this trade was literally a good example of what happens when you have patience, you know, 1 to 10, potentially eventuating in a, depending if we go to 3618, in a 1 to 15 almost. So just a matter of being patient for price to come to you and just waiting for BOS. And I think T-Bone was saying NZ card, so New Zealand dollar versus Canadian dollar, was not available on G-Trade, which is obviously on-chain decentralized platform. I personally don't trade there because I've got Forex accounts, but it's a great way for you if you don't have any brokers to trade. Well, New Zealand dollar versus Canadian dollar is going to be very similar to New Zealand dollar to US dollar, and that's what's called a major pair. Okay, anything against USD, it's a major pair. So if I call out a trade ever, which is AUD versus CAD, and you don't have that pair, always look at what's the most similar. AUD versus USD will be the next one, right? Canadian dollar and United States dollar are probably the two that correlate the most when they pair against it. So New Zealand US dollar, same thing. You could have taken that trade, and you can see it's still a nice 1 to 6 by the time it's all done. And it was at the same level. You can see we literally just waited low to high, wait for the 76, and then basically the same logic I just showed you. There was a 4-hour breaker structure here in this one, which was actually cleaner. So you can see we are literally attempting there to do a 4-hour breaker structure. So yeah, always look for what's the correlation with the next pair up. So I've got both open because I obviously like it. So I do trade a lot of Forex. GBPUSD was a trade called more recently, I think it was the other day, basically with the United States dollar. You know, the Fed's now going to start printing a lot more. Hopefully we get into quantitative easing. So QE, we just finished QT. And if you don't know what that is, you have to go and look it up. So it's quantitative tightening. So basically, we just finished that. As of 1st of December, the Feds have injected, I think it was $13.6 billion. So the second or third biggest injection of liquidity into the market since COVID. So hopefully now we will start what's called quantitative easing. And once we see that, we have stocks and crypto rallying for a bit. So with that in mind, obviously I was bidding on the weakening of the dollar, and because we have obviously Great British Pound versus US dollar, if this chart goes up, that means that the dollar is going down. So whenever I heard the news, I'm like, basically I'm gonna long anything against US dollar, and that's the price that you have to pay sometimes for wanting to be a little bit too precise. I was eyeing this nice 4-hour candle right here. Obviously, that was a nice candle. Sorry, this was the daily. Apologize. Let's do it properly. And then on the 4-hour, I think I was actually looking at this candle right here. This is the one that I was interested in. This big push down that didn't quite hit. You can see we were just shy of it, unfortunately. Didn't hit, and that's okay. But we at least know, and I'm happy that, you know, the thesis goes right. Not everything always hits all the time. We missed it by we missed this by 80 cents, 131. Not even, sorry. No, by 0.0008 of a cent. So we literally missed it by nothing. It happens though. It happens. Okay, so that is Forex covered, and let's take a look at some stocks. Last week we called out some of the stocks that are buys in my opinion at the moment. We can still go through a couple of them, and I've got a couple more to chat about. PayPal still very much at an entry in my opinion. We did obviously run since last week a bit, so we did a bit of a movement, nothing crazy, but still a 10% move, which on a stock is not to be shrugged off in a week. So this is, in my opinion, still very much a buy. Anything around $60 and below. So we are sitting at 61. It's definitely a level that if you don't have any, I am super interested in, and I recommend you do some bit of a digging into what PayPal is doing in terms of setting up infrastructure. Who are they partnering with? There is a lot of partnership happening on PayPal at the moment. So Duolingo still waiting, but as you can see, also starting to push up a little bit from last week. So we are attempting to go higher. So once again, yep, a buy in my opinion. GME has started to reverse a little bit, but I'm still going to be patient. GME I have not bought yet. I am waiting for that $17. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, I'll wait for another play. Webull, I have initiated a small position here. I think I disclosed it a few weeks ago. And I do think that it's still a buy. It's still a buy because you can see this was obviously previous lows. We are sitting at very extended price action on the downside, which makes 0 sense when the company is making money and are having now real big exposure on crypto as well. So this is, in my opinion, just price suppression at its prime. So if we turn on the volume as well, we can see obviously on a weekly highest volume ever was into this big push down, which in my opinion means we will likely trade back into that volume soon. Okay, and that obviously sitting at $9 right now, and that volume can come back all the way to 14, so almost a 2x. Easy. Moderna, not supportive of the company, if you know what it does, and you know they were obviously a big player during the war, the COVID war. That was a battleship. That was a battlefield, that. But you can see at a stock standpoint, of course, we are sitting at silly prices, low to high, and now we are starting to see volume going up when price action is actually going down. So this kind of divergence we like. In my opinion, we are gearing up for a nice big push on the upside, sitting at $25 at the moment. If we come back and fill some of these imbalances right here, simply, that's a Forex. We're looking at $100. So we'll see. As long as there's not another COVID, I'm not worried. I don't really care. But obviously, if you buy the stock, you can buy for ethical reasons. I personally don't buy stocks for ethical reasons or unethical reason. As long as they make me money, I'm okay with that. Circle. I'll take a look at Coinbase as well, Pat. No worries. Circle is starting to move up nicely. We can starting to see some nice big volume coming at the lows, which is what we want to see almost at the very bottom of it. So Circle, you can initiate a position here, and you can also DCA on the way down if it does go lower. My gut feel tells me that this is going to be one of these moves. So I wouldn't be surprised if Circle pulls, something like this from here, and comes back and fills some of these imbalances. A nice 100 and 150% from today. Now, some of you may remember this year we were talking about Warren Brothers, and we had obviously a major success story with that stock because they acquired a bunch of things, including Paramount Skymount. So Paramount Skydance is, likely going to be acquired and absorbed, which means this stock is likely, before, the news goes out, it's going to push back into the DCA zone, and we'll likely see a nice 2 to 3x, in my opinion, soon. This volume will likely get traded into. So I'm going to call Paramount Sky, you can call it, very soon. You can see I've got an alert here for when that liquidity gets taken out, but I will definitely initiate a relatively heavy position once we hit $12 in Paramount Sky. So something to put on your radar. Another absolute sleeper which had price action being suppressed, in my opinion, is Snap. You can see I've been in this is an option for me. So I initiated the option in March, and my option expiry is in January 2027. So I do still very much believe that this price action that we are seeing currently on Snap, just price suppression. Look at the amount of volume that we have right here with these very little candles being printed. This is the most volume we've ever had in the history of Snap, and it's coming all at the lows. So don't be surprised. Don't tell me that, I didn't call Snap. I've been calling it since March. It's now December. This stock will, in my opinion, go for a run. And if it does go back down into, $5 and it's at $7 now, fine. I'm okay with that. If my price target is $37. What can I use to enter Snap? You can use any broker. So personally, I use Webull. I can send you. I use Webull for all my stock plays. Webull. I'll send you. I'll share the link later on. Yeah, Webull. So that is what I'm going to be looking for in terms of where is my exit on Snapchat. It's basically this area right here, which if you go on the monthly, it'll be nice and clean. Okay, we're sitting at $7 right now, and look at this volume. In tiny little candle. Beautiful price action. Just gotta be patient. That's the beautiful thing about being patient. Target, and it's the last one of my stocks. Target, the DCA zone, as you can see, we've been talking about it now for quite a while. We are still in DCA zone, meaning that if you want to initiate a position target at $90 today, tomorrow, that is fine. I suggest saving a little bit in case we do below 80. We do go below 80. That's okay also. But target, in my opinion, is going to also go easily to 120, 150, perhaps even coming back into you know, this nice price action up here. Let's take a look at Coinbase. Pat is requesting coin. Where are we? Coinbase. There we are. Coinbase is sitting. It has been sitting at some pretty good price action at the moment. My DCA zone hasn't hit yet. I want to see Coinbase back into the low 200s. Simply because I am waiting for a nice fib level that makes sense to me in terms of risk to reward. This is on a daily. You can see, as always, low to high. I am waiting for this 776 AS6 to be hit. Like at the moment, we just went a little bit below the 618. I do think we might see some sort of price action like this, in my opinion, on Coinbase. But hey, we might not get that low. So depending on where your entry was, if you have an entry, like the real good entries on Coinbase were down here, you know, at 150. But then if you didn't take any profit at 450, you're silly. But I am waiting. Personally, I don't have any Coinbase in my stock portfolio. I did sell pretty much all of it around the 350, 375. I didn't quite obviously time the top. But nobody's got it. Once again, crystal ball. It's not about trying to time the top and bottoms. It's about are you happy with the X's that you made? But yeah, for me, Coinbase is at in middle of a move. Like we are basically, look how close we are to the 50%. We are in the middle of a move. Once again, can it go higher? Yeah, sure. It can revert and, you know, go and make all-time high from here. But it can also do this. So, and I would rather wait if I don't have any, depending on your position, Pat. If you don't have any, I would personally wait for a better entry than this one where we are now. Otherwise, you're just FOMOing into a position. Yeah, you can do 250 entry. So you just entered, you're at 276, so you're in profit. I'll probably start scaling out somewhere, you know, around 300, 330. Not all your position, because like I said, it could go higher, but depending on, you know, on your entry, on your size that you have, like, do you have 250 invested or do you have $10,000 invested? Like, just take some out, of course, take some profit, I guess. And yeah, in my opinion, we will see a better entry eventually, but this is not a guaranteed. We can literally just, you know, revert from here. We are sitting at I think I've explained to you guys what these lines are before. You can see them green lines. They're called shift pitchfork. And they've been pretty accurate so far in terms of key levels identified. You can see we are sitting on this corridor of support as is. So this is definitely a bounce. And if this area of shift pitchfork is accurate, which so far it has been, we will likely see some reverse here. Okay, somewhere here we will see some bounce to the downside. And obviously I would like to see coming back somewhere here around 240, 230. We'll see. Okay, team, that was a nice session. We've covered crypto, we covered Forex, we covered stocks. Happy days. Is there any questions in the chat? Is there anything that you want to see or take a look at that we haven't covered? Just to recap, BTC is the only one that I'm currently waiting on for it to go lower before we go higher. Okay. Take a quick look. Just that's awesome. Glad you found it useful, Kika. Thank you for being a supporter. Anyone else? Pat is also chatting away. Oh, always, mate. Always, anytime. Thanks for bringing in the questions. I love it. Keep them coming. Keeps me, you know, interested when you guys, when I know that you're paying attention as opposed to just talking to a screen. Love it. That is it then. If there is no, oh no, hang on. We got Power typing away. Maybe we got a question. No, thank you. Cool. All right, team. Have a great rest of the week. And as always, look after yourselves, your loved ones, and yeah, just don't FOMO into any position. Don't FOMO. Just let price come to you. Till then, see you next time, guys. No FOMO. Bye.